Alcohol markers have always been the most difficult medium for me. I struggle to blend, the colours get muddy, they spread all over the page, and if you accidentally go too dark, you cannot get those highlights back. I desperately want to learn this medium, so we're going to attempt to paint an entire movie for the Scene series using alcohol markers. And guess what? It's a Disney film. Obviously, I cannot start my day without a cup of tea, but look how dark this room is. What? It's first thing in the morning, and I need to learn how to use alcohol markers properly.
The fascinating part of learning anything new is just start.
Okay, well I have 120 alcohol markers. It is lovely stand. We need transfer sheets, of course. This is the Etcher sketchbook, mostly designed for watercolor. So it's going to go through the page, but we don't want it to go through another one. And after Cindy Lou Who, we have today's sketch. But what tape is gonna match this design? You know, it might just be green. We have the tape, we have the sketch, but what is the movie? Okay, just completely forgetting the transfer sheet there, let's pop it in. The tutorial is done, I don't know. And the movie is Moana from this request here. So I think we're gonna start with the sea. Various lovely green tones in this set. Green, blue, turquoise, anything leaning in that direction I think is gonna work. However, we are attempting to blend. Just watch the tutorial and here are the findings. I have been too delicate with the paper. Because I come from a watercolor background, I go light to dark and then blend in the middle. Apparently that's not right. Apparently if you want to make alcohol markers blend, you need to go backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards and just keep going over and over and over. It really pushed the paper. I'm used to handmade paper. I wasn't doing that. But I'm still not sure that this is gonna work. Well, okay, why don't we grab this color, add a little bit of sand, of course from the original scene, which looks like this. We're actually zooming in quite a bit, and I'm starting with the background for no apparent reason. I just think this might make the choosing of skin tones a little bit easier because we're gonna know what color the background is and what tone the background is, rather than going straight on white. However, using this technique of going backwards and forwards a ton of times, you can see it kind of looks really dark, right? The background immediately looks dark. I feel like maybe this is where a pastel set of alcohol markers comes in, because I have some pastel colors, but a lot of mine are naturally kind of mid-tone colors. I don't have many really light tones, and you can see the sea is just darker than it should be. Of course, when we're layering a ton of times and trying to make it blend, it is gonna get darker, but I've never created like this before, and I accidentally got a color wrong on the swatch sheet. Yeah, this is not a red pinky tone, this is purple, just like the pen looks. Who would have thought? Every time.
Last year, so I kind of just like fell out of practice of using gouache because it's...
Next up, we have more background to add. Yes, there are literally so many different areas in this scene that I thought would have been a nice easy scene to choose, and I think it would have for something like watercolor, because you can kind of wet the background and infer that there are objects. Alcohol markers don't really do that, so this is already taking a lot longer than I had planned. Luckily I've got a whole playlist of videos to keep me company. At the moment it's Paloma the Peach, one of my faves. It's time, we need to draw their face. Starting off with pink to add the blush and the lips and the clothes. I don't really know what I'm doing. I watched a couple of videos and I'm still not sure. So we are gonna try our best and layer a lot. There's this huge green spot here that looks a bit weird. Maybe I went a little bit too crazy on the blending. It's okay, it's all gonna be covered up later on. It is kind of like a bush, a tree. The hair is a tricky part of this, okay? This is Moana, and Moana's hair is crazy. It's big, it's curly, it needs definition, and it needs to be darker in certain areas because a lot of the curls do hit the light. They are a highlight. I don't know how we're going to achieve that, but we will try. A green, the bush, let's do this. Okay, so the movie we're painting today is Moana. My alcohol marker experience is... okay, this is embarrassing. I have used alcohol markers for over a year now, but I tend to reach for them for their daily doodle diary, for quick sketches, for little fun sketchbook ideas, to fill a page, or for the create this book, which can often be like silly art. I have never tried to create something proper with them on actual paper with blending and layering and trying to look somewhat realistic. Of course, Moana is a Disney movie, so it's going to be realistic to that in my own art style, whatever that may be, with alcohol markers. I've never tried to create in a realistic kind of way and properly blend on the right paper. I have been using them for years, but not actually in the right way. So this is a test, and to get to this point it's been like an hour and a half. We have something, but it's looking a lot more moody than I was intending. Unfortunately, choosing the right colors and then blending them back and forth. Because this is a transparent medium, I think we made the color darker, right? Because the sea kind of looked like the right color, but then we went backwards and forwards and ended up with several layers. And with alcohol markers, I think if you layer like the same color on top of it, it just makes a darker version. I think that's what happened. Back to the hair. Oh, that brown. Where is that brown gone? Okay, what about warm gray? Although there's a little bit in this tree I want to do first, but I think we really need to make these shadows a lot darker than they are to try and make the highlights more like a highlight. Does that make sense? If that doesn't make sense, that is completely fine. It shouldn't. It doesn't make any sense. What about acrylic markers? There's a part of Moana's dress that has like beading on it. It's white, it's opaque, it needs to go on top. And I don't know why, but I am putting a highlight on the nose, and it is so much whiter than I thought it would be. Hopefully we can cover this up with more alcohol markers, but I'm really not sure. So I chose Moana because I absolutely love the film. I think it might just be my favorite film in existence. And I thought it would be even harder if we tried to draw an actual live person realistically. So it's a nice little introduction. And with acrylics, I think we need color pencils, right? Just a little bit to bring back this line work. And if you haven't seen, Moana 2 is actually out. I saw it in cinema, and it is a little bit odd because it was supposed to be a series, so they've kind of bunched it all together. You can kind of see where one episode was supposed to end and the next one begin. It doesn't really have a great flow, but you know what? It's still pretty decent. Probably a bit controversial that, so let me know down below what you thought of the second one. Honestly, I'm just happy to have more content. I love the film. I'll take even more. Oh, we really are just getting through all of the art supplies right now because we're back on gel pans. You know that terrible nose highlight that I added and then tried to cover up with alcohol markers? Yeah, that didn't really work. So we're adding even brighter highlights to make it more obvious. And I think we might be there. Almost. Let's take out the clips, heat up the tape and peel it off. Let's see what this actually looks like without the frame. Oh, the gel pen's out again. There are some mistakes. I don't know how, but somehow it wasn't straight. It's a dry medium, very confused. But it's done! I tried creating something proper with alcohol markers for the very first time. And this is my drawing of Moana. Let me know down below, was this a success? In the next scene series episode, we have to figure out how to cover up this bleed through. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that. Look after yourself and I'll see you very soon. Bye bye.